the sun isn't technically a planet, but
Wouldn't noon be the greatest?
what's that?
Wouldn't noon be the greatest?
I can't.
Would noon
the
be
greatest
better?
Because it's the peak of the day.
I was always told that it was upon sunrise is when you want to take it. There's periods during the day that you can break it down. So sure, if you miss the sunrise, noon would probably be another one. Yep.
I'm actually going to lecture a little bit about that
Cool.
on Sunday. The sunrise is the transition from darkness into light. And there are certain hormones and chemicals released in your body. And during the darkness, and then when you go into the light, you imprint those chemicals with the sun. So that's part of what's going on with the sunrise.
And those are all related to like melatonin, serotonin, and stuff as well. Absolutely. So yeah, I'm basically going to teach you how to prepare a very simple tincture without any kind of expensive glassware or any kind of expensive investment. I mean, I have mason jars here. So we start with our herb. This particular herb I'm using is called Kalea Zakatichichi. It's a oneric, I think it's called. It's a dream-inducing plant. And I think it's got a solar influence. I've never really checked it out. There's really not much information on it in terms of alchemical tradition, but I think it's a solar herb. I might be wrong there. But basically we'll take the raw herb, and does anybody want to try this that hasn't been able to do alchemy, want to get their hands dirty and actually do some of the stuff? Does anybody want to do that? Do you want to do that? Come on up. Always got to do safety. And this stuff is caustic, so as with Drano or anything else, it could cause blindness if you get this in your eye. You want to be real careful about splashes and stuff. This is potassium carbonate. It's found at wineries. Not bicarbonate, that's really easy to find, but you want carbonate, potassium carbonate. And I would look at it from wine distillation. You let distill the wine, they have it in their barrels, they process it, this white powder.
Ceramic supply houses. That's cheap.
Oh, nice. Ceramic supply houses as well.
It's expensive online.
Right. It's very expensive. A bag, I got like a 50-pound bag, it was like 120 bucks. That'll last a long, long time. So yeah. So what we do is we take a pillowcase. Because what we're getting is we want to get an extraction menstruum, if you will, and we want to prepare this menstruum that'll start our extraction. So we put the potassium carbonate in a pillowcase, and we hang it above a 2-liter bottle, or a gallon jug like this, with a point down here. The material will actually be solid for a while, and it won't attract the water for at least a month. It won't get wet. But after a month, you'll start seeing drops fall out. It takes a long time. But it's a very powerful medicine. It just takes time. Once it's exhausted its whole supply, it'll empty itself, and you'll have this solution here. This is deliquiesced potassium carbonate, or angel water. There's this other celestial component called celestial niter that it's grabbing from the environment as it deliquiesces, and that's the important stuff that we want.
What makes it deliquesce? Are you putting it outside
Right.
so it's going to do?
The salt is a hydrophilic property.
So you're absorbing the dew.
Correct.
Well, you have to worry about the container that it's in so it doesn't like suck plastic.
Exactly. I use number 2 plastic. It's non-reactive with caustic materials, or glass. It's semi-reactive with glass, but you're not going to get a whole lot of glass there. But yeah, the number 2 milk jugs, standard, work perfect. Also the 5-gallon buckets at Home Depot you can get, they work well too. They're number 2 plastic as well. So once we have our material here, I'm going to have our assistant, what's your name? Adam. Tom. So we're going to have Adam put the herb, and you can actually, you want to get the herb pretty grounded, but for this demonstration we'll just leave it ungrounded.
That's good.
Is it? So basically, we're going to take that herb, and we're going to put it in this mason jar here. Nope, just put it right in there. normally I'd put in a blender or a mortar and grind it real fine. The finer, the bigger surface area, the better extraction. Awesome. So we got our herb in our mason jar. There you go. So now we'll actually pour our deliquiesced potassium carbonate or angel water into the herbs. So go ahead and do that. Pour it in. Awesome. Perfect. Now take this solution here, this whatever you call it, put the lid on. And then what we'll do is we'll actually set this on a heating pad, or like, you know, the little things that warm your cup of coffee or your mug of coffee. Just set it on that, maybe 3 days, a week, something like that. After that's sat for about a week or so, you get this kind of solution, this darkness here. And there's also plant material in here. I actually filtered it, but there's actually going to be plant material in it as well. It'll become real dark after it's been heated for about 3 days to a week. After it's been heated, percolated a little bit, everybody has a different spin on this. This is just how I do it. Some people put the alcohol in right away. 40 degrees Celsius is a good temperature, so you can put it on top of your gas water heater if you don't have a coffee warmer. Robert taught me that trick. So yeah, so basically then it becomes this darkened thing. So now we have to prepare that which is going to carry our quintessence, which is the alcohol, and we want it to be dry. So we're going to use potassium carbonate again.
Does it change its molecular structure if you cook it at a higher temperature, or does it pretty much stay the same?
That's a really good question, actually. I would say it would have to have some effect on it.
Okay, I've been working with quartz. Quartz doesn't dissolve in water, right? But when you crush it up really finely and you put it in like a liter of water, like a gram of quartz into a liter of water, and you boil it, you boil the water bonds with the quartz and it dissolves. It seems like it dissolves quartz, but it changes the molecular structure.
Right, I think it does too. Yeah, I think it does too. And I think that's really what the difference between alchemy and modern science is. Alchemy uses nature to form these various complexes like this, as opposed to just a metallic preparation of iron and sulfuric acid to make iron sulfate.
But the mass would change just the structure.
And it's accompanying things that are hanging off of it, and the things that get caught in the middle of it. There's a mechanical force that's involved before it's bonding. There's a chemical force. There's all kinds of forces involved in bonding. And probably, like you're saying, there's probably a mechanical thing going on, or some flavonoids and other compounds, or something going on with that.
When you change the state, you just change the crystallization and everything.
Right.
Because that's how the alchemists recrystallize. They always try to recrystallize things.
Sulfate, coagula.
Yeah,
Exactly.
so they change the crystalline structure each time.
And when you're doing that, you're refining matter. So you're dropping off the dross, or that which doesn't serve us, and then we get this refined stuff. So basically what we want to do now is, here's the concept here. So you've got, this is caustic, we call it the cold fire. The cold fire cooks the herb into the alcohol that captures the quintessence. That's what's going on here. So what we do is we clean the alcohol with potassium carbonate again. We'll actually heat it in a little pan like this to get all the moisture out, and then pour it directly in the alcohol, and that'll separate the alcohol from the water. Then you can see the two layers floating on each other.
What are you heating in the pan?
The potassium carbonate to dry it. We're using this.
Without the herb.
Right. Yep, that was the angel water process, and now we're moving into the drying and cleaning of the alcohol and preparing the menstruum that'll capture the quintessence as it rises up and create the premium ends tincture. This is Everclear, ethanol. You want to use ethanol. The ultimate would obviously be a refined brandy. The grapes tend to be the most exalted form of alcohol that you can use from grapes. You always want to try to use grapes, but this is so cheap and so readily available.
Is that available in Southern California?
Yeah, but only at 75%. Yeah,
So
95 up in Washington.
Is the 75 usable? Is the 75% usable?
Yeah, because you dry it. Because you don't want any water in here. Obviously with plants, water's not going to kill you, but if you get into the mineral stuff, water-soluble salts and metallic salts will do some damage. So we're kind of also warming up here, practicing for the mineral stuff, but that doesn't take away from the plants. The plants are very powerful in their medicine, and it's really, there's a lot of value in here as well.
So this is a combination of what now?
We put the dried potassium carbonate that's been heated in a little thing like this, and then we pour it in a funnel into just some alcohol. After about a week or a couple days, it'll separate out like this. And you want to use enough potassium carbonate to where you're starting to see it fall out. That way you know you got all the water out. So you see how there's kind of stuff on the bottom?
So you just calcinate the carbonate
Yeah.
and just put it in the dry?
Right, and then it sucks up all the water like a sponge. You don't have to.
So this is mostly water?
The water's on the bottom. Alcohol will float on the top. It's a colder separation.
That's like 75, 70, if it's 100.
This has been through a lot of alcohol. Yeah, I've used like 5 or 6 different alcohol bottles. But I'm using the top and then the bottom grows. So yeah, it'll be like this much water.
Would that be like 100%?
Yeah, this is 100% alcohol. And it'll start taking on water. You open it and it'll evaporate like crazy. I made a tincture, a metallic tincture, and the damn alcohol, there was a fan going, and the whole tincture, by the time I was dropping it in, it's like evaporated. The alcohol evaporates very quickly, especially in the desert. Well, the Everclear's 95%.
Yeah, by 99%. So you're saying this would help?
Hey, you'll have to talk a little louder.
Oh, sorry. The Everclear you can take like is like 95%, right? So you can take the 5% of water out of that.
Yeah, exactly. Because you can't do it with distillation. You reach a point where you can't distill the water out, so you have to do it chemically. Because alcohol grabs water out of the air. So you're distilling it over, it's grabbing water, you'll never get it clean like this. You gotta use the potassium carbonate.
Unless you do like vacuum
You
distillation.
can do that, yeah, exactly.
So this skips vacuum distillation.
This is so easy, guys. This will make you such a powerful medicine for you. So it's just very basic. So we'll get this top part off, and then we'll put it in here.
Oh, I never knew you could do that.
Yeah. I mean, technically you can still use all the water, and this will probably grab the rest out, but you'll get a very small layer.
And that's edible, like
Oh yeah. The top water?
yeah. Oh,
You don't want to do the bottom. But you can distill the bottom and drink the water out of that. That's a different thing
Are
called.
you saying we have to distill off the remaining water out of the Everclear?
You don't have to. I'm saying you could.
Yeah.
What we do is we take this angel water and distill it, and that's another very nice preparation. To drink that, it's very good water. Very good water.
what makes angel water different than regular water?
Because it's attracting the life force, prana, like stuff out of the air as it deliquiesces. It grabs it.
Oh,
Grabs it. The celestial nitre, we call it.
from the not the alcohol.
Yeah, exactly.
It goes through the alcohol, or
No, as it deliquiesces in here, it actually is pulling the nitre as it deliquiesces.
so it's pulling it from the atmosphere.
That's the whole Buddhist lever with the golden sheet wool, and they drag it across the ground and get the dew and stuff. It's the same kind of concept. They're getting the.
Oh yeah, the moisture from the air. Yeah.
But I think you don't want it to touch the ground because it actually takes the charge away. So you really don't want dew to touch the ground. I know they drag that stuff
But
around.
you're touching the table, right?
Not really. Not, as long as it's contained in here, you're not touching it.
Even if it's on the ground.
Yes, exactly. This protects it. If this sat on the ground and it was going in here, you wouldn't know. So yeah, so then all we do is we put our dried alcohol into the potassium carbonate / herbal mixture, and you get this cold fire will heat feed it into the alcohol here, and it'll capture the premium ends tincture. And you can see that layer. It's like a brownish, tannish, light layer. That's the layer you take off. You can use a separatory funnel as well, but I use just a little funnel like just a little. I'll just grab it and put it in like that.
Where do you buy something?
Great source, and Robert also would be able with this, is California or any kind of university that has surplus sales. Their chemistry department. I mean, I bought this for like a nickel, I think. It's insane what they're giving them away for.
Wow.
Yeah.
How long does it take for the tincture to the plant, like the precipitate and the tincture? How long does that start?
About a week. I do a whole lunar cycle just to make sure.
Oh, so you do 28 days?
I would do like 28 days, but you can get away with 7.
Really?
Right. So again, and you want to heat that as well. So then once the alcohol goes on top, you put that on a little cup warmer. Let that sit for a week, and then you've got a beautiful premium ends tincture that you can start your 7 dailies with. You make 7 of them. You do a sun plant, a moon plant, Mars, the whole thing. And then every morning as the sun comes up.
How much tincture do you take a day then?
You can take everybody's different. Some people react stronger to things than others. I could do half or a full dropper of it a day, but some people can only do like 5 drops.
In like 8 ounces of water?
Right.
In 8 ounces of water?
Exactly. You want to put it in water. I think it's much more important to put it in water and get it diluted to that point.
Because it's too powerful
It
otherwise.
is. It's almost like you want to make this it's not homeopathic at that point, but it's like you almost want to dilute it to a point where it is like cushioned by all these other water molecules. It seems that delivers it much better in my experience. And plus this form is actually pretty amazing. This premium ends, you drop this in water and it's totally water soluble. You'll see it just form this white cloud, and very much easy to assimilate into your body. I mean, it's just so easy.
You don't have to extract the silver and the salt or anything and refine it.
No, exactly.
That's simple.
Right. You got a very powerful medicine right here.
So you don't have to like burn anything? The water does all the work.
Right.
Well, not the water. Right?
This is Paracelsus, this is cold fire.
Oh, no way.
It's the cold fire that's burning the quintessence into.
So, you hear about things like Alpacite, they do things with fire, and then other outfits like they can just do it with water. Right? So this is like
There's a whole
I mean
thing.
liquids, not
Right.
water.
Well, there's a whole thing with water too.
Yeah.
The waterworks is incredible what you can do with water.
So if you study Paracelsus, this is his cold fire then?
He calls it the cold fire. Yeah. We're Paracelsian in our practice. Paracelsus is the man for what we do. Like, he is our thing, our alchemy. And that's it. Is there any
Hey.
questions?
How you spell Paracelsus?
What's that?
Paracelsus. Yeah. She wants to know how to spell it. P-A-R-A.
Okay,
R-A.
Oh, Paracelsus, P-A-R-A-C-E-L-S-U-S. His name's like Philip von Via something, bombastic. Yeah, it's a really long name. And we got that bombasticness from him. Being bombastic.
Is there like a song like Bombastic?
I think so.
Tommy, you have to take this every day for a year?
Yeah, every day for that particular influence. So on Monday you do your lunar tincture. Sunday you do your solar tincture for 1 year.
You skip, does it mess anything up, or you have to start back
No,
again? Or?
it should. It should. What it does is it slowly releases toxins, as opposed to releasing them quite quickly and getting some Herxler type reaction.
Did you change your diet when you're taking this?
I think that's a very good idea. Definitely. Because then you're not fighting against it. If it's conducive to a healthy body, it's going to work much easier.
Do you do anything for like the modern planets, like Uranus or Neptune?
It's funny, like we haven't, but I know that I've heard Pluto.
Yeah, I mean,
I know.
they kick my ass regularly. I'm sure if you made a teacher for them, you know.
I think Pluto they associate with plutonium, which I find kind of funny. But yeah, I don't know. There is none really.
Still,
Put it in 8 ounces of water.
I met the guy that demoted it.
Pleasure, thank you.
Your hair splitter.
That's it. Thank you guys.
Get some right, they don't see